Hello, and once again, welcome to Almost Solitaire and another ancient battle. We're playing Commands of and Colors Ancients, of course. And this is another battle from the Sparta expansion. So this is Mantinea, 362 BC. And we are again seeing our Theban hero, Epaminondas, and his sacred band here with Thebans. And well, this time we are in the 360s, so this is I think it's about 9 years after Leuctra, the last battle we played, where Epaminondas did beat the Spartans in an open battle with these deep phalanx units. So as we can see here, we are seeing a similar situation here, but in this year, the Thebans were the strong guys in the Greek mainland, because this kind of could be grouped to the battles where we are seeing the decline of the Spartan hegemony. But on the other hand, we are pretty much seeing a Theban hegemony taking form here, and in that way Mantinea is a really important battle, because before this the Thebans were taking control of more and more of the cities on Peloponnesus itself, which were, you know, Spartan stronglands in the past, by creating the Arcadian League, where a lot of cities were involved in, including Mantinea, I believe. But due to some political things happening here, and some powers getting really afraid of the Thebans getting too strong, the Mantineans changed side and allied with Sparta instead. And actually, it's not only cities in the Peloponnesus that did take place here, or took part here in this battle and in these leagues, because we're really seeing a kind of an unholy alliance here, because we're seeing Spartans on this side. I mean, this side is really led by the Spartans, and we're seeing Mantineans here on the right hand side of the Spartan line. But this is the interesting part. I mean, we have Hegesileus here, and that's an Athenian guy. So this is actually an Athenian wing of the Spartan army, and that's kind of crazy, because these have always been enemies, right? So we're actually seeing Spartans and Athenians battling together against Thebans here. So this is a fairly big battle. We are seeing some 50,000 foot on including both sides, and some 5,000 horse in this battle, with the Thebans having the numerical advantage here, and that's actually both in foot and horse. So as you can see in the initial deploy here, we are seeing this kind of same setup from the Thebans as we saw in Leuctra. Epaminondas having this echelon kind of setup, which I think was, you know, also used by Alexander the Great later on in Gaugamela, and again he's placing his really heavy Thebans here with a sacred band at the very left end of his line, and then some other hoplites and lighter units, including cavalry, over here and a bit back. So, and some skirmishers in front here. So he's really depending, kind of depending on his former tactics to crush this side with his heavies, and then turning and attack the other guys in the flank. And well, in the battle he did succeed with that plan. He even made the Mantineans to believe that he wasn't going to attack during this day, So they kind of relaxed their arms, and when they did that, Epaminondas did call for the charge, and so they did. So the Sacred Band and the other heavies crashed into the Mantinean line, routing them pretty much instantly, and that led to the defeat of the Spartan army here. So another important milestone that led to the Spartan decline here. So, but well, it's important also to mention that in the really closing stages of this battle, Epaminondas himself did actually die in the battle here. So without having this strong leader that he was, the Thebans quickly grow weaker, because there was a kind of a turmoil after this in the political climate as well. So Greece was thrown into a kind of a chaos after this. Who will take the lead and control the other cities, and who will form a new hegemony? And I think it came from an unexpected direction in the end. You know, the Macedonians with Philip II coming into power. But that's a later story that we will look into really soon. But let's start with Mantinea first, 362, and see if Epaminondas can again break the Spartans in our game. So what's in the war council then? Well, we see that the Thebans have 6 cards, the Spartans have 5 cards in their hand. They're led by Agesilaus, and Epaminondas is of course the army leader here. They will move first, the Thebans will, and we will fight this battle till 6 banners, so it's a fairly long one, but not extremely long, I guess. And as we know, when the phalanxes clash, this count always rushes. So let's see, could be fairly long, but it depends on the card, of course. Then we have some special rules. We have the Sacred Band. It's basically the same rule as in the last battle. I mean, they will score a hit with the leader symbol, even though there are no leaders adjacent or attached. And they can always ignore one flag. We have the hoplite infantry rule in effect, and we have some Spartan 5-block units here in the center. So we have the Mantineans, the Spartans, and the Athenians on this hand. So, and that's it actually. So here we have the board set up. So a few words before we start. We see we have some terrain here. Mostly on the Spartan army side we have some hills or mountains here flanking the battlefield. The battle was fought on a plain outside of Mantinea. And well, I don't know if we can make much use of this terrain, but we have some light guys who could find some rescue up in the hills, avoiding those heavier troops. And for the battle tactics, well, if we look at the Spartan army first, the first thing I noticed is that we are weaker in skirmishing power. We have some lights up here and we have some lights here, nothing in the center. We have this medium heavy cavalry here. So I really think the only chance we have, I mean, we can't stay and skirmish this out. It's not possible because the Thebans have more skirmishing power and they also have more cavalry power. So we need to close in with the phalanxes here. That's basically it. We need to just start marching as fast as possible. And if possible, maybe close the gap here and get some benefit from some line commands or something like that. And that's basically it. Just clash and hope the Spartan power and the 5-block unit power is enough to gain some banners up there. And for the Thebans, well, I think I'll try to play it a bit historical. But I don't want, of course, Epaminondas to die, but I want to attack on my left, or the Theban left, get the Mantineans, and try to take it a bit more easy. Maybe follow up to not have too big of a gap between the lines here. If the Sacred Band and the other heavies start marching with some moderate pace here. So, but keep up somewhat and also skirmish away here. I mean, before these Spartans reach our line, I want to weaken them with my 2 lights here. So, well, yeah, and we could have a quick look also at what we do have here on the battle board, of course. So, starting from the Thebans this time, on their right hand side we have a line of hoplites up there with the leader, and another line of hoplites here. And in this side we have these heavies back here. So it's a cluster of 3 hoplite units in each section, basically. And then in the front we have 2 lights and medium heavy cavalry there. In the center we have 2 lights, and on our left hand side we have 1 light and 2 medium heavy cavalries. So pretty good all-round troops, I'd say. For the Spartans, as I already mentioned, we don't have that much of skirmishing power, so we have some cavalry in the flank, some lights up in here in the hills. Then we have this big hoplite line here, and more hoplites, 2 units here with Mantineans, medium heavy cavalry, and some light infantry. Here's the Mantinean leader that's unnamed, so I don't know who that guy is. But here we have the Athenian leader Agesilaus, and here we have the Spartan one Agesilaus. So that's basically it. So let's start this game. So the Thebans with their 6 cards will have the kickoff. So let's see, we have a line command, we have 2 cards of medium heavy, we have 3 on the right, we have 3 on the left, and 4 in the center. So the line command, well, we cannot activate any cavalry with that. These guys are, or these cards are pretty good to, well, no, just move up these mediums when needed, but I don't see any urgency to play these now. We could start skirmishing off up here, of course. We could also start skirmishing in the center and also actually move up some of the hoplites there. Or we could order 3 units here and start bringing these guys down. And maybe I will do that because I was also thinking, I didn't mention that when I said about talked about the battle tactics, but it would be nice to get these guys as soon as possible before it can escape to the hills, and we can get a banner by that. And we have 2 cavalry units in striking range there, so I think I'm gonna get them by that. And because these lights cannot evade or retreat, so they will pretty fast die off. I'm sure of that. And if it goes well, I could be bold enough to continue with the cavalry attacks, to attack the Mantinean main line with my cavalry, actually. Maybe scare off their cavalry here. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the 3 units left. So that will be the lights and the cavalry. Now I will actually play the lights here in a kind of an aggressive move. I'm a bit counting on getting those guys and maybe scare off those guys as well, and then we could throw some javelins here, but yeah, let's mark it as moved, so we only throw one die when we battle. And then could we dare to move there? I guess we can. Then we move there. So that's it. So we start. We could start up here, I guess, and attack those lights with 3 dice. And we actually did miss them completely. That was not according to the plan. They will now battle back. They got a flag on us, so we actually need to bounce back with this cavalry. 1, 2, 3. That was not expected, that's for sure. This means I need to commit these guys now to weaken the lights first before I do the second heavy or medium heavy cavalry attack, because with 3 dice I cannot get them, or I could with some good flag rolls, but let's see if I can get one block down before I do the cavalry attack. So the lights will attack down from the hills. It's 2 dice, and they also did miss really bad, so they will also get battled back now. But the Mantineans did miss as well, so no luck there. And now it's a bit of a not that good of a situation, actually. I'm even thinking maybe I should attack those guys instead, because those cannot take any flags, you know. So if I can roll a flag, they retreat, I can go back and hit again at least, so I can weaken those guys at least. I mean, I pretty much cannot get those guys anymore. You know, they can ignore 1 flag. That's the troublesome point here. So I would need to roll like 3 flags to eliminate that guy. That's not possible. So I will actually attack those hoplites instead. Let's hope I get them off guard here. Let's see. I roll so bad now, but I got 1 hit. This was a sword symbol, so that's 1 hit, but that's certainly not good enough, because they will now battle back with 4 dice. And they are adjacent to a leader, so they hit with 3 here, and that's the end of my cavalry feast there. And quite unexpectedly they gained the banner. Wow, okay, interesting. I wasn't counting on that, that's for sure. So a cavalry charge gone wrong by the Thebans there, but there's no panic yet. Okay, those guys are not in the best of positions, but they have retreat paths. If not, they could actually close my retreat path there. Let's see. So here goes the Spartans. They have a dark in the sky. Not too interesting right now, because we're also adjacent there. We have 3 center, we have heavy troops, which we don't have any of. Another 3 in the center, and a clash of shields, which could give me some extra here, but that's not worth it, I guess. So it's not really a good card to counter this, or a good hand to counter this move, actually. So I don't really see how I can count. Maybe I should leave those guys alone. The only thing I could do besides playing the Clash of Shields, but I don't want to do, is to play the heavy troop and just activate 1 unit here and scare those guys off. Well, maybe we actually could do that, because we could get rid of this bad card before it's starting to get hot. So maybe we should do that. Yeah, let's do that. So play the heavy troops. I can activate one unit of my choice, and those guys will of course evade. Well, depending on who I attack with. If I attack with those, they might not evade. They might take the chance to stay there and battle back. But if I attack with those guys, they will for sure evade, because then I hit with swords as well. So I will activate the cavalry. This means, and I will not move them, they just stay put and will attack uphill. But these guys, even though I only get 2 dice against them, they evade through the mountain range here. I'll throw those 2 dice, and that was a miss. And I cannot take ground because the Thebans did evade. So, but I'm happy I scared them off, bounced that cavalry back and eliminated the other one. They run into the hoplite spears there. Okay. So now it's the Thebans again. So the first plan was not successful, so what can they do now? So we have 3 right, 4 in the center, the medium ones, and the line command. They really cannot activate up here now. Well, with the line command they can, but okay, I mean, I feel though that we have time on our side, so we can continue with some skirmishing. So let's play one of these right hand cards. And that would be 3 units. Those guys cannot evade, they cannot retreat. So I will activate my strike force up here and just move them up like that, and like that. We only have 1 die. And the cavalry I want to get in some kind of striking range to wherever I want, so I'll move it up here. They cannot attack. So let's start with some javelin throwing then. So it's 1 die uphill there. We're looking for green. No. And the second one, oops, let's re-roll that. And that's a hit. Okay. At last, some effect. So these guys are done. I know we could follow up next turn with another attack if we want to. I mean, next time we'll get more dice in our attack. Okay. So let's check out the Spartan response. They had a dark in the sky. They could of course start throwing lots of javelins there. Too bad those guys are not in range. The Clash of Shields is not anything I want to do. We have 2 on the right hand side now, and we have some guys in the center. I mean, we don't have that many skirmish troops, so maybe we should play this Dark in the Sky now already. Because if we don't do that, we will get showered with javelins here. Of course, we know the Thebans have something up their sleeve because they move up these lights here, right? So let's try to scare those off before they can do that. So let's play the Dark in the Sky this time. So it's only 1 unit that can activate with that card. It's those guys. And we start with these guys who are not supported. So 2 dice. A miss. Let's put the second fire on the same unit. And another miss. Too bad. Too bad. Crappy rolls there. Those are done. And we go back to the Thebans. Mounted charge. Should we? Maybe we should now. And I get this extra die also in bonus close combat. Yeah, so yeah, let's do it. As we still have cavalry in our rank, so let's do it. This one and this one. So I'm going to do a second charge on those lights here. These guys, well, I'm tempting to attack those guys before because they cannot retreat, but I only get 3 dice, but maybe that is enough. Or I could just hit some of the hoplites here. Maybe that guy with the Athenian leader here. But that's very dangerous. They can ignore 2 flags. Yeah. Not too happy with that. I'm gonna do it like this. 1, 2, and 3. Bit strange to have the cavalry on both sides up in the hills here. They should be on the plains, but I could get them in 3 dice here, and with a bit of luck we got those guys. Let's see. But let's start here. So we have 3 dice plus 1 for the card, so it's 4 dice, and well, this could be something. And it's 3 hits. Not bad at all, not bad at all. They can now battle back. Oh, they got 2 hits on us. Oh man, those lights are elite. Mantinea lights, don't mess with those guys. And here we have 3 dice, thanks to the card. Otherwise we only would have gotten 2 dice in this hill-to-hill attack by cavalry. So we got 2 hits and 1 flag. Too bad those guys are supported, but they're also down to 1 now. Happy about that. And they will of course battle back too. And they missed us. So we have been not too lucky here with our cavalry. Here it's a tad better. Alright. That was the Theban cavalry charge. And they are almost expended now, this cavalry. It's worth to note that the Spartans really have both of their cavalry in full strength, so they are actually in a bit of an upper hand in cavalry now. We have 2 units each, of course, but that guy's down to 1. Okay, so it's the Spartans. Clash of Shields. Nah. The good thing with playing Clash of Shields now would be we can activate both these guys and maybe get those cavalry. But they will of course evade. Here we could get those guys actually, but here, well, we could weaken them with 4 dice. I'm a bit tempted actually to play already my Clash of Shields. Maybe it's really dumb to do that, but let's see what we have. We have loads and loads of cards in the center. 3 cards with 3 unit center, and then we have 2 up here. And maybe that's good enough in this case. What should we do? Or we play the Clash of Shields before our lights go down and they can do a last good battle here. see that as a good card too, and I can see maybe not start with the center yet. So I'm gonna roll for it. So 1 to 3 I will play 2 here. 4 to 6 I will actually already play that Clash of Shields. Even if it sounds crazy and it could be really handy later on in the battle, I know. But you know, I could get a banner, another banner here now, getting up to 2 banners, and I could cripple that one even though they will evade, of course. And that's before my lights go down, because they will do soon. So 1 to 3 we only play here. 4 to 6 we play the Clash of Shields. Okay, it's a bit softer path, if I could say so. So it's through 2 units on my right hand side, and I'll activate those guys now. So I'll move these guys a bit into safety, move up with those guys and attack. The good thing is those guys cannot evade then. And then we have 3 dice in the attack. We need 1 hit, and we got that because we are luckily adjacent to a leader, so we got that guy. And that's another Spartan banner. We got 2 now, and we could still go 1 hex forward, but I don't see why I should. So I will stay here because I'm in striking range of pretty much everything in this area now. So that's good enough to stay there. Draw them a card. Let's see. Yeah, let's play 1 more turn. So here we go. It's the Thebans again. Still we got the line command, the mediums. We got 3 here, which could be really nice. 4 in the center. No, yeah, it's 3 there, or 2 up there. I think I go with a 3 on the Theban right, which would be the left hand side from this view. And again, we're gonna play these 3. And I'll do a kind of suicide attack here. I will press forward in the mountains here. Those guys stay put, and they will just throw javelins against that light. So let's start with the lights, because I want to get that guy first, to, you know, make sure these guys don't have any support. So here we got the first javelin throwing guy. We need a green. Yeah, we got it. So now we got the Theban first victory banner. Bad thing though is the other guy don't have any targets. I was thinking of moving maybe 1 guy forward, but then I would only get 1 die in the attack. So I wanted to make sure I got that guy. That's why I stayed with both of those lights. Okay, so then we have the attack of the cavalry. It's 2 dice. And the good thing is those Athenian cavalry here on the Spartan side are not supported. So flag is what I want. I rolled really bad. The Theban cavalry has not been too good, so now it's battle back, and they are not adjacent to leader, luckily for the Thebans, so it's a kind of a maneuvering thing happening here in the hills. No one hits each other, they just feint and charge and feint. So, okay, but I'm happy I got that light unit there. So we draw another card, and then we have the Spartans. Clash of Shields. Lots of 3 in the center. And then we got some lights. We only have 1 light left, remember, so this is a bad card to have in our hand right now, but it's not. On the Clash of Shields we would get 4 dice against that cavalry. Could it be worth it? Maybe it's worth it. I mean, otherwise, playing these 3 in the center, that would mean these guys start marching and nothing happens. And then we could get battled again from that Theban cavalry. I want that to happen, really. So I'll play the Clash of Shields now. I know I'm sacrificing this card, but this is important to get that flank secure here. So I will attack with 4 dice. That's good against those cavalry. So we got, well, we only got 1 hit. It's not good enough because they are also staying here, which is really, really bad. And now they will battle back with 2 dice. And they also hit with 1, so it's a really bitter fight here on the Spartan left-hand flank. And that's basically it. And I think I'll end this session here, so I will soon be back with part 2, but quick recap, we have seen most of the action here, I'd say, with the initial Theban cavalry charge, bouncing, 1 unit got caught in these spears here and eliminated, and also, well, we actually got both of the cavalry units now, and yeah, so it's a pretty empty here now, and well, we have the heavier guys, but they are really far away still, and it's a slow-moving units, and we of course have that light crouching in the hills there. The center, nothing has happened, and up here we have seen some skirmishing battle, some cavalry probing in the mountains here, and with minor casualties so far, but I guess we will see more action here soon. So by that, I thank you for watching, and hope you will be back for part 2. Bye bye.